Both games in the East Chronicles collection include a nightmare difficulty setting that turns the gameplay into a hellish experience. In the East series, you need the best equipment available at all times. Miss one and the next boss might present an unforgiving difficulty spike. For those unfamiliar with East, imagine a shorter, action-packed Final Fantasy with one playable character and a gameplay akin to the early Legend of Zelda, but with combat based on bumping into enemies, even diagonally. Let's talk about our hero. Adult Christian, the protagonist from the previous game, is back. His mission? To rid East of demons. In East 2, these demons aren't too tough, unless you're playing on Nightmare mode. This mode increases the need for grinding and reduces your margin for error. Some bosses have bullet hell mechanics that demand precise mobility to defeat. My initial thoughts on East 2 weren't great due to its dreary introduction. If it weren't for the banger intro cutscene and its impressive audio composition, the first in-game music in the village would put me to sleep. Fortunately, the soundtrack picked up again in Ruins of Monjoria. Things there have gotten quite serious. Local demons could kill you in a few hits. Early game had its merits though, like being able to replenish full HP with the most basic healing items. The first major challenge though was the mines beneath the village. The intro cutscene mentioned something about goddesses needing to guide us. That was spot on. In East 2, every dungeon is a complex maze from the start to finish. If you want to avoid losing your sanity, you can activate a mascot in the display settings for a good placebo effect. There's even a Chun-Li mascot for Street Fighter fans. My favorites though are Maid Lilia and Peach. Combat in East 2 felt familiar to East 1. You bump into enemies off-center to deal damage without getting hit. The diagonal attack option mentioned in the tutorial works most of the time, but is best used when finishing off a mob. The combat music in East 2 was a pleasant surprise, fresher and better than East 1, in my opinion. After acquiring fire magic and mana, I tackled the first boss, who was a pain due to his bullet hell mechanics. I needed precise timing to hit him whenever he was vulnerable. After several deaths, I finally beat him. Another extremely annoying fight took place in the basement of a particularly unpleasant character, and it was a mix of challenging and frustrating due to respawning enemies. The next area was icy, discovering that this icy location held one of the game's crucial items eased my concerns. Another item made my fireballs homing, which I loved. However, spamming fireballs became necessary due to the overpopulation of ice cubes. Hey, what the fuck? Without mana, it was a nightmare. The reward: a single-digit XP. Hardly worth it, like picking up red orbs in Devil May Cry 2. I could also talk to demons with the altar magic item, but I used it sparingly. The marble flower in the snow proved useless. Ice area enemies didn't stagger, no matter how much I charged my fireballs, but they gave me more XP, making it somewhat forgivable. My health indicator began to feel like a bar of progress. While East 1's low-level cap meant walking through the final dungeon on the same level, East 2 allows grinding in later parts, making the final boss easier, unless you miss a crucial item like me. The ice boss was annoying with its sharp ice cube attacks and unpredictable jumps, often pushing me off the fight and leading to restarts with his health regenerated. The next location, despite its escort mission, had a soothing metal soundtrack. Navigating the area was tough, even for experienced players. Finding the Ruse Nest, essential for HP and mana replenishment and story progression, was challenging. Defending against local demons required fireball spam, but level ups became easier. Fighting these demons made me look forward to a new village, but the excitement waned when the villagers disliked me. After transforming into a demon myself to understand them, I tackled the controversial escort mission. You can check out one of my previous videos for more details. After several deaths due to the boy's fragility, we reached the fire boss. I despise this boss. He repeatedly pushed me off the stage. His Nokia-like snake attack was fast and lethal, sometimes resulting in an instant death. The RNG made the boss's positioning unpredictable, leading to frustrating attempts. Winning this fight required patience and perseverance. As I approached the final village, a peaceful OST was incredibly misleading. If I hadn't spoken with the villagers, I wouldn't have known I was nearing the final destination, literally a demonic nest, nor even that the village was in great danger. The local weaponsmith provided me with an excellent equipment, crucial for Solmon's shrine. There the guards were incredibly strong. Grinding became a necessity, and I maximized the potential of the newly acquired time magic. This allowed me to obliterate enemies with a single rush, though some still had larger health bars, so I had to use the magic more than once. The next boss, a giant spider, was an easy fight once I discovered his core weakness, like literally, his core. After this, I obtained the first of the 3 battle equipment pieces, eventually finding the second, but not the third. Before the next boss fight, I suspected I needed a battle sword. And there she was waiting, a hot, evil woman. If she hadn't such a high defense, I could have made it by overleveling, but it had almost no effect. The required battle sword made the fight frustrating, and I had to look up a guide to find the yet uncharted room. Once I obtained the sword, I defeated the boss with ease. I also picked up an item that made my fireballs ricochet, which made grinding an amazing experience, especially due to its animation. To be honest, I kind of felt like Godo from Berserk because he didn't love clashing his hammer, but the sparks made from it. Meeting the goddesses for the first time was a soothing moment, with an OST perfectly fitting both Rhea and Fina. Talking to them calmed me before the next boss. He looked like a gym-going magician with an amazing trip, considered by fans as the apex of Ys soundtrack. This fight required strategic hits and patience, leading to several deaths, but eventual victory. This was probably the most balanced fight of the whole Ys series. On the other hand, the final boss, Darm, was intense and challenging. Without the crucial revival item, the fight was more intense than it should have been. The first phase required quick damage, while the second phase was tougher due to random bullet attack. The inspirational music kept me motivated. However, the randomness of Darm's attacks made the fight frustrating. I had to die 30 times, try out mouse and keyboard in desperation, and get hit 3 times in a row by his nastiest attack due to RNG stupidity. Eventually, after multiple attempts and switching control schemes, I finally cracked his Kinder Egg and emerged victorious. So what made Nightmare so difficult? The RNG. No matter how skilled you become, you can never fully predict what's next. While I enjoy the fights, the randomness made some situations unbearably frustrating. Ys 1 had mostly predictable fights, except for the hard-to-read bad boy. The final boss was scripted, allowing for a strategic approach. Darm, on the other hand, was random throughout, reminiscent of the final boss in the Ys Oath in Felghana, which made me scream. Hard games like Ninja Gaiden Sigma or Dark Souls were frustrating more due to the distance between attempts than the fights themselves. Ys 2 might seem easier to the ability to save and load states, but it's still tough. Kingdom Hearts secret boss fights might be even harder, though please don't make me go through that hell again. All in all, Ys 2 Nightmare was an experience I loved and hated simultaneously. The main reasons are the RNG and maze-like structure that drive you insane whenever you lack a crucial item. Have you had a similar experience too? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to support this channel, don't forget to subscribe.